Who will be the next Pakistani Army Chief? Islamabad, it is almost time for the establishment army to make what is likely to be one of the toughest calls of its tenure, who to appoint as the next chief of Pakistan's army. A senior Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, PMLN, leader, a member of the federal cabinet, hinted in background discussions that Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif could initiate discussions on the appointment by the end of August, and possibly take a decision by mid-September. Pakistan Army has kept the Kashmir claim issue alive to justify its huge budget and exclusive perks. This fake issue has destroyed Pakistan. Pakistan was created as part of the Great Game to defend India. 4 of the 6 top lieutenant gens at the time of Gen Bajwa's retirement will be from the same batch, while a 5th is senior to almost the entire lot. Nor have any specific criteria been laid down for consideration for elevation, except for the vague condition that the general chosen to lead the army should have commanded a corps. The tradition is that General Headquarters, GHQ, Rawalpindi sends a list of the 4 to 5 senior-most lieutenant generals, along with their personnel files, to the Ministry of Defense, which then forwards them to the Prime Minister to pick the officer they find best suited to the role. Theoretically, the Defense Ministry can vet the names before presenting them to the Prime Minister, but that does not usually happen and the Ministry acts merely as a post office. The matter comes down to the Prime Minister's informal consultation with the outgoing Army Chief, his own perceptions and his discussions with his closest advisors. They insist that it is only the outgoing Army Chief, during his informal consultation with the Prime Minister. However, it is the army that rules Pakistan. Of the 10 army chiefs the country has had since 1972, 5 were appointed by the incumbent's elder brother, Mian Nawaz Sharif, in separate tenures as Prime Minister. Some PMLN leaders said in background interviews that they have, therefore, more or less decided that instead of succumbing to the temptation of finding an ideal candidate, they will make the appointment based on seniority alone. Appointed in 2016, Chief of Army Staff, COAS, General Qamar Javed Bajwa is set to retire in the last week of November. The Army Chief's appointment is meant to be for 3 years, but Gen Bajwa was given an additional 3-year term in 2019 after a bit of political drama. Then Prime Minister Imran Khan had given him an extension in August, but the Supreme Court later demanded legislation on the reappointment of the service's chiefs. Parliament complied in January 2020, allowing the Prime Minister to extend the tenure of services chiefs at his discretion. But according to a military source, Gen Bajwa has communicated to those around him that he will retire in November. Chairman Joint Chiefs of Staff Committee, CJCSC, General Nadeem Raza will also be retiring at the same time. The simultaneous appointment of 2 4-star generals gives the government a little bit of space to pick a commander for the army without causing too much consternation among the top brass. Interestingly, 4 of the 6 senior lieutenant generals at the time of Gen Bajwa's retirement are from the same batch. At the time when the decision to appoint the next CJCSC and COAS is made, Lieutenant General Asam Munir will be the senior most among the lot. As a result, his 4-year tenure as Lieutenant General ends on November 27, around the same time when the incumbent CJCSC and COAS will be doffing their Army uniform. Since the recommendations and decisions for the appointment of the 2 4-star generals are to be made a little earlier, it would be for Gen Bajwa to decide if his name is to be included and for the Prime Minister to make the final call. Lieutenant Gen Munir entered the service via the Officers Training School, OTS, program in Mongla, and was commissioned into the Frontier Force Regiment. He has been a close aide of the incumbent COAS ever since he commanded troops in the Force Command Northern Areas as a brigadier under Gen Bajwa, who was then Commander X Corps. He was later appointed DG Military Intelligence in early 2017, and in October next year was made the IC Chief. However, his stint as the top intelligence officer turned out to be the shortest ever, as he was replaced by Lieutenant General Faiz Hamid within 8 months, on the insistence of then Prime Minister Imran Khan. He was posted as Gujranwala Corps Commander, a position he held for 2 years, before being moved to the GHQ as Quartermaster General. In the current cohort, Lieutenant Gen Mirza is senior most amongst the 4 candidates belonging to the same batch. Lieutenant Gen Mirza came to prominence as Director General Military Operations, DGMO, during the last 2 years of General Raheel Sharif's tenure. In that role, he was part of Gen Sharif's core team at GHQ, which supervised the military operation against the Tehreek-i-Taliban Pakistan, TTP, and other militants in North Waziristan. After his promotion to the 3-star rank, he was appointed Chief of General Staff, effectively making him the second most powerful person in the Army after the COAS. In that role, he was closely engaged in crucial decision-making related to national security and foreign affairs. In October 2021, he was posted as Corps Commander Rawalpindi to enable him to acquire operational experience and become eligible to be considered for the top posts. Currently, he is the Chief of General Staff, CGS, effectively running the Army with direct oversight of both operations and intelligence directorates at GHQ. Prior to that, he commanded the Rawalpindi-based but Kashmir-centric and politically significant X-Corps, which indicates that he enjoys the complete trust of the present Army Chief. It was during his time as Commander X-Corps that the Indian and Pakistani armies reached an understanding on respecting the 2003 ceasefire agreement along the Lok, and it was Lieutenant Gen Abbas's job to ensure compliance on it. Previously, Lieutenant Gen Abbas served as Commandant of the Infantry School, Kuwata. He was the personal staff officer of the former Army Chief, General Raheel Sharif, a position which gave him a ringside view of the decision-making processes at the highest level. Belonging to the Baloch Regiment, Lieutenant Gen Mahmood is currently president of the National Defense University. He also has extensive experience as chief instructor at the Command and Staff College, Kuwata. From there, he was posted as Director General, Analysis, at the IC, playing a crucial role in foreign policy analysis from a national security perspective. On his promotion as a 3-star general in 2019, he was appointed Inspector General of Communications and Information Technology, GHQ. In November 2021, he handed over command of the 11th Corps to Lieutenant General Faiz Hamid. Lieutenant Gen Hamid, too, belongs to the Baloch Regiment and is one of the most widely discussed contenders among the competitors for the top office. As Brigadier, Lieutenant Gen Hamid served as Chief of Staff of the X-Corps under Gen Bajwa, who was then commanding the Corps. At the time of Jin Bajwa's appointment as COAS, Lieutenant Jin Hamid was a 2-star general and was commanding an infantry division in Pano Akio, Sindh. Soon after his promotion as Army Chief, Jin Bajwa posted him as Director General, Counterintelligence, at IC, where he was not only responsible for internal security, but also political affairs. After his promotion to the 3-star rank, he was initially appointed Adjutant General at the GHQ in April 2019. He has also served as Director General Staff duties at the COAS Secretariat, giving him considerable experience in both GHQ and command positions.